Welcome to Climate Rescue Capitalism, using product profit to fight climate change. My name is George Ortega, and this is a new television series designed to help us just move beyond the inertia, finally do something major to fight climate change. Basically, this series is going to be based on a book that I published in 2014 called Climate Rescue Capitalism. Now, if you want a PDF, a free PDF version of this book, just keyword at Google, Climate Rescue Capitalism WordPress. The address of the blog is Climate Rescue Capitalism blog at WordPress.com. But again, if you Google Climate Rescue Capitalism and WordPress, that should be the first results. And so you can download a PDF from there, or I published it. You know, if you have a Kindle, I think I charged 99 cents for it. So, like, you know, I was trying to charge as little as possible. All right, let's just get with the theme. So, because I'm going to be doing this every week, and I'll be presenting various strategies how we can get this working, get this moving. So the problem with climate change is certainly scientific. Yes, we have to do certain things. Carbon sequestration, you know, reduce our carbon emissions in various ways. But we cannot do that work until we fight this battle that we're in now. And the battle we're in is against these major corporations, very rich people who use their wealth to stop us from doing anything substantial on climate change. Now, how this series ties in with that is, like, you have to ask yourself, how do these people stop us from fighting climate change? And naturally, they use their money to lobby our politicians. And our politicians, this is an imperfect world, imperfect political system. They listen to them instead of listening to the voice of reason, the voice of conscience, to what they should be doing. So, but the key thing about that you want to understand is that these people who are stopping us from fighting climate change, and I'm not going to impugn them. A lot of them, you know, believe that they're doing the right thing. I'm sure they all do. You know, they think it's not a major problem, but the way they stop us is through money. And how do they earn that money? How do they get that money? They sell us products. Okay, that's the number one important point of this series. What's stopping us from fighting climate change is people selling us products, then using the profits from those products to stop us from fighting climate change. Okay, and the book, you know, just goes into like how serious the issue is, but I'm probably many of you already know that. So, all right, so what is this idea, this strategy about? It's like, well, if they can sell consumers, shoppers, products, and then use the profits to fight, to stop us from fighting climate change, we can create new corporations, new companies. I'll be referring to them as climate rescue corporations that will sell us products, the same products that these other corporations are selling us. We're going to be competing with them. But these new corporations, these companies are going to be using 100% of their profit to fight climate change. In other words, they're going to be donating their profit to climate change organizations, you know, to lobbying, to different initiatives. So now, all right, your first thought right now may be like, how can a company survive if it gives all its profits away? What my book explains, what this series is going to go through, is like, this isn't theoretical. This isn't something that, all right, let's see if it works. It's on paper. Let's see if it works in the real world. We have an example that's about 35 years old of a company that has thrived, you know, starting with one product, now branching out into, like, it's got to be like several, you know, 6, 7, 8 dozen products, 2 different companies, and like has donated 100% of their profit throughout these 35 years to thousands of different, worthy causes, charities. And over these 35 years, just this one company has donated over $500 million to these initiatives, to these causes. Now do the math. I mean, like, imagine if there were thousands of these companies, because the way, and let me, all right, so like, yes, imagine if there were thousands of these companies just basically everywhere, or a major company just producing thousands of products, we would have billions of dollars to lobby our politicians. So they would be listening to us rather than the corporations and the people who are stopping us from fighting climate change. All right, so like the company that I'm referring to is called Newman's Own, and it was started by the late actor Paul Newman in 1982. And Paul Newman at the time had absolutely no food marketing experience. He would make bottles of salad dressing, to give away to his friends at Christmas, and people were saying, or the holidays, or whatever, and people were saying, this stuff is so good. So he decided with his partner, his neighbor actually in Westport, Connecticut, Alex Hotchner, they decided to create Newman's Own and market these products. So what happened is, like, initially there were just two of them. Then they hired a part-time bookkeeper, a part-time accountant, or secretary rather. And I mean, like, in I'm going to go over like the numbers in future episodes, but basically they very quickly made a lot of money in this way. Now, something that's very important to understand about the climate rescue capitalism concept and about how Paul Newman did his company is that they didn't need a factory to create the products for them. They didn't even need product testing. These marketing firms are like, will this product work? They either they outsourced it or they did it on their own. For example, like Paul Newman is a chef. He was a culinary, he was a chef. So basically, what he just came out with his recipes and asked, do you? And I know the reason I'm mentioning this because I believe that food products are probably the ideal kind of products for this kind of for this initiative. So like, all right, so Paul Newman, like he got his friends together, okay, and they tasted the products and they said, all right, this is good, and they went in that way. And again, his products are phenomenally successful. So like, but the second part of it is the outsourcing. So he outsourced the manufacturing and distribution to companies. And I'm saying this because you don't need any overhead. You don't need a building even. I mean, I think his first building, his board table was a ping pong table. And if you want to learn more about his company, he and Alex Hotchner published a book a couple of decades ago, I believe, about how they did this. I've got to get the title, but it's the subtitle is all right. Just Google Paul Newman, Alex Hotchner, the book. It's about the creation, how Newman's Own came to be. All right. So now, all right, that's our model. In other words, like, I used to talk about to this about people, and if I didn't mention the company Newman's Own, if I didn't tell them that information, invariably everyone would say, how can a company survive if it gives all its money away? Well, as we'll see, Newman's Own has thrived. And like initially, they didn't even have a chief operating officer. It was only like several years later that they finally hired one. So, and then, and we'll be getting into the profit, because like if these companies can be started by celebrities, by not-for-profit organizations, by individuals who want to actually make money while their company donates all their profit, to the fight against climate change. So, yeah, because there's various ways of approaching this. But the idea is that pretty much anyone can do this. And again, let's get back to the food products theme. That the idea that supermarket products are probably a very good, and I may be mistaken because it could be that internet sales of pretty much anything. If you have a website, something that that people go to, and let's say they're shopping on Amazon and they're looking for a product, and Amazon may actually have a feature like click on this option, and we'll show you the comparable products that are being sold by companies who donate all their profit to the fight against climate change. All right. So there are internet, venues that could accomplish this, but the idea is again that because everything is outsourced, pretty much anyone without any marketing experience can create a company like this. And to follow up, basically, a person who starts a company like this can make money doing this. The reason I say this, the not-for-profit organizations, the climate change organizations that are out there, lobbying, advocating, they basically solicit contributions, donations to finance their work. And it's standard, procedure in the not-for-profit world that 20% of your revenue that you get in through your contributions, you apply to operating expenses. So in this case, the operating expense would really be the salaries. Let's say you go in with 3 other friends, so there's 4 of you. And so that means, let's say if you were, let's say you donated $1 million, one year to whatever climate change organization you wanted, whatever lobbying initiative you wanted, that means that $200,000 could be devoted to your salaries. So divided among the 4, that's you're earning $50,000 that first year that you donated $1 million. But imagine a year or 2 later, or sooner perhaps, you're donating $5 million a year. All of a sudden, your salary and the salary of the other 3 people jump from $50,000 to $200,000 a year. And do the math. So basically, you could make a lot of money relatively doing this, while just doing so much to help the climate, to fight climate change. So, all right. So that's and again, there's so much to cover with this. I'm going to do episodes on this until it's all covered. But again, I would refer you to the book, the free PDF that you can download. It's also available in somebody narrated it. So if you have Audible, you can listen to it. All right. Now I want to talk about the way this project that can be advanced. First, I talked to the owner of a media network. We met last week, and we're preparing to have this series be presented on his network. It's a worldwide network. The problem is, as I explained to him, is I am an ideas person. I'm not a presenter. So, one thing this project needs is some 20 to 30-year-olds, some young people to take it on, to do actually what I'm doing, but much better. So, but that's the first part of it. The other part, in other words, so let's say you've got, somebody else doing this show or a few people. But I think, initially when I came up with the idea, I thought, all right, I will reach out to a lot of climate change organizations fighting climate change, and I'll try to persuade them to put this project together, to try to solicit entrepreneurs, philanthropists, because not-for-profit organizations can also create these companies. So that was my initial strategy to get them. But then like recently, and this is, I think, going to be like a major part of the series, a better idea came to me. Basically what I'm going to do through this series and through making phone calls, because I think that that's very important to reach out to people, basically to have someone, a documentary film producer, basically produce a film about this idea, getting it out there. Al Gore, in 2006, with $1 million, which is not very much money to make a film, he made An Inconvenient Truth with that money, and showed it all over the world. It's got the books, it's got the DVDs and everything. And I think that at the box office they made like $50 million worldwide. That's not even including the book sales and everything. So like he did that. He used a film, a documentary, to present to the world, this problem of climate change. Because so many of us didn't know before that film. All right, so like the idea of this film is like, fine, everybody knows climate change is a major problem. We still don't know how to overcome the inertia that comes from these politicians, doing the bidding of these rich people or rich corporations. So this film would invite the world, entrepreneurs, not-for-profit organizations, climate change organizations, to start using this strategy. Okay, and again, once, I'm not a business person, I'm an ideas person, but this idea in the hands of a business person like a Zuckerberg or a Bezos or, one of these guys who knows the internet, who knows marketing and all that, I think, within, you could probably make this film in about 3 months. I mean, the information needed to be conveyed is so fundamental. So like by next year, for example, the theaters are opening up, or also there's Netflix and everything. You could have a documentary, hour-and-a-half documentary, that just gets the word out to the entire world, and then I think we begin to see progress. Now, there are various ways. We can have this, like, let's say the film is made, okay, and all of a sudden everybody around the world says, this is what we have to do, because like they're stopping us from fighting climate change using money that they're earning by selling us products. So we sell products competing with them, and basically counter that. So all right, so basically one strategy, for example, is, all right, the idea that I'm trying to convey is that, like, if this were to happen, just like, all right, people start creating the companies, that might work, but it might be much smarter to have an organized initiative. In other words, like, and celebrities, for example, Paul Newman was a celebrity. Now, most celebrity products don't really do that well in the marketplace, but there's something very different about this product, this line of products. And I should have mentioned this before, but basically, some years ago, in 2014, when I published the book, a few months before I published it, I asked people, I stood outside a supermarket here in White Plains, New York, and I asked people, and I had them read from a piece of paper. Rather, I didn't want to influence them with how I asked the question, but I had them read the question, like, if your supermarket started selling new products that were equal in price and value with the products that you now buy, but you knew 100% of the profit would be used to fight climate change, would you buy these products? 44 out of the 50 people that I asked said yes. So that's, and this, like, and that's a very important point, okay? 44, that's a huge market. And let's say it was only half, or even 1/4 of the people who actually said that would buy these products. That would spell success with any product, that's being sold. So, but as I explain in the book, there's a section called Climate Celebrity Buy Aid, where celebrities love to do this. And the other thing is, like, I should have mentioned this before, but let me do it now. It doesn't cost that much money to start a company like this. In 1982, Newman put in $20,000, Hotchner put in $20,000. So with $40,000, they started the company. In today's dollars, that's about $100,000. So celebrity buy aid. Let's say you appeal, 100 celebrities are appealed to, and they're told, listen, we want you to each invest $100,000 in introducing a product, and the label is going to tell people, all 100% of the profits are used to fight climate change. And so you had 100 these celebrities. They can finance this on their own. There's very few, successful celebrities that don't have $100,000 to invest in something like this. So imagine celebrities just talking about it, being spokespeople, having these products out there. That's one way to go, but that's not the only way to go. In other words, like, again, an entrepreneur, you're a millennial, you're a young adult, and you have marketing skills. You get 2, 3, 4 people working with you. You can do something majorly beneficial to the world and make a lot of money at it. Because again, this 20% operating expense, structure that not-for-profits use, I think it's a fair compensation. So like, fine, you're not going to like become a billionaire, but you could very easily become a millionaire just doing this, which is more than enough, I think, for most people. So, all right. There is a lot of details that I could cover. For example, the success of Newman's Own. In order, what he did. He didn't like advertise, for years. I don't think he didn't do any advertising. The only thing he did, he created a product launching event at a bar on Upper East Side, Hannity's, I think it's called. I'm not sure it's still there. But he just invited, the New York Times, the Washington, the media to attend his product launch. And within a week, he was inundated with orders from ShopRite, Stop and Shop, all the major food retailers who wanted to carry his salad dressing. So that would be part of it. Again, I want to make this appeal as direct as possible. This idea needs a film producer, a documentary film producer, who understands, that nothing is happening on climate change that's substantial, and that this can change the dynamic, and that one film, getting people to understand what this idea can do, can just finally start things moving on this. So, okay. Again, let's review. I've got about 5 minutes left before the end of this episode, and I'll be presenting this in different ways, hopefully more and more successfully each week. And then, I guess personally, I'm planning to perhaps in November start making phone calls. This is kind of like practice for me to get my delivery better. But I will be reviewing this because and a reason I'm going to review this a lot, because this is you're being asked to understand something that's not within the framework of what we think about. Again, most people think you can't, make a lot of money. You can't, make a lot of profit if you're giving everything away. You can't survive as a company. So yes, you have to hear this several times sometimes to recognize, yes, you absolutely can. All right, the basics. The people who are stopping us from fighting climate change are using money that they have earned selling us products. The key to stopping them, the key to fighting climate change, is to compete with them for these products, but donate 100% of the profits to the cause. Now, just briefly back to the food products. Again, I think food products are an ideal product because they can be easily manufactured. In other words, so many of the food products, you go to a food lab, and say, like, I want you to create a product that looks and tastes pretty much like this. And without any kind of like patent, copyright infringement, any kind of like, property right violation, they can reverse engineer it and create a product that would be, as good and sell it for the same price. Again, that's like you're asking people, when you're going to the supermarket, let's say you want to buy a, not the, we don't want to compete with, we do want to compete with Human Zone, but like, salad dressing, right? So you want to buy a salad dressing, you could buy from Hunt's, Heinz, or I don't know who makes Ken's, whatever. You could buy from Newman's Own, but like, for this, you probably want to like, so anyway, you've got like 3 or 4 different salad dressings, all selling for pretty much the same price, about the same quality. But with this one, with one of them, with Newman's Own, he's donating 100% of the products. I mean, like, they have great causes, they fund, children's camps, medical research, they do so much good. But we can do both. So all right, so, buy some of Newman's Own and buy some of this. But basically the idea is like, you give people the opportunity to use their shopping as a vehicle, a democratic vehicle. Like your shopping becomes a vote. If you choose this product over the other ones, you're channeling that money from the profit of your purchase to a very, very good cause, of fighting climate change. Okay, so that's the basic concept. And again, I want to return to the film. I mean, there's the concept is so simple, and thank goodness that we have Newman's Own that serves as the model, because like, it's not theoretical. It's like, maybe this will work. No, this has been working for 35 years. And, just briefly, Newman's Own has he's structured as an S corporation. Okay, there's various ways to do this. As an S corporation, he basically just has to donate all his profits before December 31st of each year, and then he starts again. So, all right, we've got less than a minute, so I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Again, I'm going to continue doing this until it's done. Hopefully, God willing. But I plan to get more organized. I just, I've been delaying this for so long. I'm finally glad it's out. And we will, in this way, through a film. Again, there are other ways, like, the network that I mentioned before. We're going to like premiere, and we're going to be asking people to create the film from that. But I think the film is what's needed. So, all right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week on Climate Rescue Capitalism.